that I thought, I want to go out and I want to meet this guy and I want to learn what the hell he's about. And now I'm like, this is a hero, man. This is a hero who's WhatsApping me. He WhatsApped me yesterday. I'm like, are you kidding me? Am I
telling you, man.
Or what?
Telling you, man.
You don't believe anybody. I didn't even tell anybody I was going down to try to find him in this city of 2 million people, because they would have said that's stupid, or won't you be embarrassed, or isn't this dumb, or what are you going to say? I don't know. It's going to work out.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've set enough of a pattern in my life to believe that if you do the right things, good.
This episode is brought to you by ERC. Let me ask you a question. Did you have a business during the pandemic with 5 or more employees? If the answer is yes, you might be leaving money on the table. All you gotta do is go to ercbankroll.com and you can get your money. The best part about this, it only takes 5 minutes or less to see if you qualify. Go to ercbankroll.com and put in your name, email address, answer 2 questions, click on the submit button, and you're done. It's that simple. And get your money. So don't wait. Go to ERC Bankroll. Welcome to another episode of the Online Marketing Secret Podcast. I'm your host, Lopaze. So like and share this episode. So today, I have another special guest. But before I get into that, like, share this episode, and I would appreciate it if you left me a 5-star review in iTunes. Love it or hate it. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear your questions. I want to hear your feedback. So I appreciate that. So today I have a really special guest, and I had the privilege of talking to this gentleman, very unique person, if I say so myself. He's a serial entrepreneur, digital marketing expert. He's somebody that's been around the internet for a long time. So if you ever thought about starting a business from scratch, he's done exactly that. He started not one brand, but 2 brands from scratch. He started one brand, and within 6 years, he made over $100 million. The name of the brand is called Portland Leather Goods. And the second brand he started in 2022. It's a shoe and accessory company. He started that brand and he made over $10 million within 12 months. My special guest is Curtis Matsko. Welcome to the show. So, where you from?
I grew up in Montana, but started my companies in Leon. In Portland, Oregon. Wow, I already jumped around the world. Yeah, okay. From Montana, grew up there, youngest of 4 boys, and I started this particular company in Portland, and now a lot of our operations are down here in Mexico.
Got you, man. So how'd you get into the business? Is it something that you always wanted to do? Because I know a lot of us, we don't go to school for a lot of the stuff that we venture in as life takes us on this long journey. So how'd you get started?
The funny thing is I have 9 college degrees.
Oh, wow. Damn.
And someone always said, what did you study? Business, marketing? I'm like, no. Like English lit, philosophy, political science, creative writing. And they said, what did you do with that? And I said, well, I'm one of the smartest people I've ever met. And I never lose Trivial Pursuit. And I learned how to think and actually solve problems and figure shit out. And so I actually was hired in marketing. I was working on my PhD, and just right before I completed it, I just quit. I said, this is not for me. And I drove my car out west, and going over the mountains, my transmission went out on my old car, and I broke down in Salt Lake City. I went to a bar, bumped into this guy I knew from college. He said, hey, you obviously don't have a job. You have a broken down car with all your stuff in it. And he said, we have this team that's flying to do this seminar. It's a sales seminar in Florida. I bet you I can get you on, make money for 3 days. I went for 3 days with these guys. And on the plane flight back, the guy came back and fired me and said, you're the worst person at sales and marketing I've ever seen. You know nothing. You're too intellectual. I am a competitive bastard, and I literally started a company doing something very similar to what they did. They were very big at the time. 3 years later, they were out of business, and that guy came and asked me for a job.
Wow.
So it didn't take me long. I think my personality is more sales and marketing than school, but I was in school for so long that I didn't know what I wanted to do. Nobody in school knows what they want to do. No. You just don't know. It's just there to get out and see the world and figure out what the hell it is you really want to do, what you're good at, and what's fun. So that's how I got into marketing, and now I've been doing it for 30 years, and I think I'm pretty damn good at it.
Wow. I bet you that's a nice long story.
There's so many little stories in the middle of there. That's what I always forget about. Yeah, it's if you do this entrepreneur venture long enough, you realize that it's just overcoming obstacles and stories and all the things that hit you, and that most people just give up. And life's gonna throw things at you. You might as well be doing something you love while it doesn't, right? You should. I didn't know my passion was sales and marketing, and I guess it's not. My girlfriend said I'm too shallow to have a passion. She said that my passion is when I do something that everybody likes and I like taking credit for it, right? So basically, when I'm successful, people say, you're awesome. And I'm like, that's my passion then, right? I like selling leather bags because people tell me I'm awesome because I do it. So that's just how shallow I am. But it also is a good life to get up every day and to do the things that you love. I literally wake up and have coffee at 6 every morning as the sun's coming up. And I just cannot wait until 8:30 when the first folks start coming in, that I get to start working and seeing people and doing what I do.
Yeah, man, that's great. There's the shallowness, that's a part of your genius. I always say that. It's like
I believe that too. Yeah. I literally believe that too.
It's a thin line between crazy and genius. I always say that.
3 years ago, when the pandemic came, we were making all of our leather bags in Portland, Oregon. And when the pandemic came, we were going to be knocked out of business. Like we're gone. Like we're out of business. And my friend said, books will be written about people who got scared and people who got aggressive. And I put on 3 masks and I flew to León, Mexico, where I already knew people, where we already got some of our leather. We set up a little leather production studio. We called it the studio. It was only 5 people in a big place, but you had to start somewhere. But everyone had been laid off. This is the shoe industry capital of North America here in León. So all of a sudden we started to grow and grow. We're now the largest leather bag making company in North America. We did it in 3 years. Because I was crazy enough to take that risk. And I was in Italy talking to a gentleman who owns 36 huge tannery networks around the world. He's 84. He's very famous around the world. And he invited me to his estate. And I said, why did you want to meet me? And he said, Curtis, you're just as crazy as I am. He's like, my sons keep talking about you, and they said this guy is either crazy or he's a genius. Yeah. And their dad said, what's the difference? Well, I guess maybe the difference is you continue to grow and get accomplishments rather than keep crashing yourself, right?
Exactly.
There's crazy geniuses that'll grow something, then they'll blow it up. And they'll grow something, then they'll blow it up. Can you keep that growing over a long period of time? There's the fine line between crazy and genius. That's it.
Yeah. So let's talk about, during the pandemic, did you have a store, or you were strictly online?
We're all online. Everything's online. Well, I mean, we have 2 stores in Portland. They'll do about $3 million in sales, but they're a side thing. They're just there to be on the side. We're all online. We'll do 100+ million this year, all online.
Okay, so how did Portland Leather? How did that get started? What made you want to go into, the leather business, selling bags and shoes and boots?
See, again, I'm a marketer, so I was just looking for something good. My girlfriend had a bad job. Okay. And she was in debt from college, and she was a waitress. And I said, you need to quit your job. And she said, what will I do if I quit my job? And I said, I forgot to tell you, I'm a genius. I said, I can create something that can make this successful. And she said, what are you going to make? I'm like, I don't know. So I thought of a little leather journal. I walked into a little leather store and bought a piece of leather, probably about this big, 2 by 3 foot. Spent a week designing up a couple leather journals, and I took it up to her and I said, this is it. We can make $100 million company out of this leather journal. And she said, you're an idiot. This is so bad. Of course that will not work. And so we started selling them. First of all, we went to some art festivals just to get proof of concept down, which was one of the most brilliant things we could do, because we had thousands of people giving you immediate feedback, right? We took it onto Etsy, and within 1 year on Etsy, we became a top 100 all-time seller. There's 2.8 million people selling on Etsy. We were a top 100 all-time seller because of my marketing background and what we did. We moved off to that onto our own storefront, portlandleather.com and portlandleathergoods.com. And then we just double every year, just grow. So again, it wasn't that I wanted to sell leather. It's not that I wanted to sell leather journals and leather bags and purses and shoes. What I wanted to do was market something that people wanted, and I saw a need, and so I created it. And it worked. So now it's a lot of fun.
Damn. Man, that's great, man. Because, I always wondered about people that started businesses like that, whether it's clothes or whatever it is online, and they just blow up. I always wondered, how the hell, what are the steps, or the deals or things that they put in place to shoot off like that?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, there's 2 parts to it. Okay, one is an Emmett Smith quote, and one is going to be something that maybe shocks some people. Number one thing that Emmett Smith said when somebody, you know the running back Emmett Smith for Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
They asked him, "What makes you so good? What are you thinking? What makes you so good at a running back?" Do you know what he said?
No.
He said, "I run where they ain't."
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Everybody copies everybody. What? Everyone says what.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
If you're copying and you're not different than anybody, then you're just more of the noise. Yeah. You're just playing in the same stupid pool. I did things that had to be different. I took my photography different. I did the closures. I did every single thing. I thought, but how can I do something different? What are they not doing that I can do? Instead of just copying, which is the most common tendency that everybody does, you have to be different. And the one thing I have in spades is I'm different. I'm the youngest of 4 boys. There's nothing not different about me. I always had to try to stand out. My brothers were bigger, stronger, and dumber than me. So I always had to try to be the clever guy and do something different. So the number one is go where people ain't. Even if you're selling a product they're selling, what can you do to differentiate yourself? Number 2, there is no formula. If someone tells you there's a formula, they're lying to you. Every time I think there's a formula, I am proven wrong. There is a subtle creative art, and there's a little bit of magic. Yeah. And if you don't believe in magic, you're screwed already, man, because you have to know that you're going places that no one's ever been, that no one's ever done, and you have to know it's going to work out. How's it going to work out? I don't know, man. It just does. It's magic. But if you don't have the belief, you'll never take those damn steps. So number one, run where they ain't. Number two, creativity, subtlety, and magic is what makes your photography a little bit better, and your wording a little bit better, and your personality a little bit better. That's really what it comes down to. I believe in it. I literally believe in that more than anyone could. Are you a basketball fan at all? You're in Charlotte. You must be a basketball fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a huge fan of a certain team and a certain coach. Huge. I mean, enormous. I buy season tickets even if I can't make it to a game because I love this team so much, okay? I heard 2 weeks ago that somebody wrote me something, said, did you hear the coach, this famous coach, is in your city in Leon, Mexico? I'm like, what? They saw it on Twitter. One of his players was down here, and he just had to come down and see that player, right? So I figured out where I thought this person might be. I went, saw him sitting there, sitting in a chair, walked up. I said, hi, my name's Curtis. We sat down, we talked. Ended up that his college basketball coach, I dated that coach's daughter sometime in my life. We became friends. He invited me to go to Europe when the team goes there. He's given me front row seats to every game. He's got some pro players that he said, I can get you front row any game you want because I have so many pro players as a college coach, right? That I can get you into your favorite team to meet the team and do what you want to do. And he asked me to go golfing next time I'm back in the United States. Literally started texting me every day. We became friends. I asked him to dinner that night. And he's meeting with a bunch of my, and we're just sitting here in Mexico, this beautiful terrace having dinner. And I told him my theory. I said, it's about subtlety and magic is how business works. You have to believe. And he said, Curtis, do you know how many times someone's asked me to dinner? He said, over 1,000. He said, you want to know how many times I've went? 0.
Yeah, man.
He's like, this is my first time. He said, I'm so glad I came out. I cannot believe this. He said, there was something magical about you that I thought, I want to go out and I want to meet this guy and I want to learn what the hell he's about. And now I'm like, this is a hero, man. This is a hero who's WhatsApping me. He WhatsApped me yesterday. I'm like, are you kidding me? Am I
telling you, man.
Or what?
Telling you, man.
You don't believe anybody. I didn't even tell anybody I was going down to try to find him in this city of 2 million people because they would have said that's stupid or won't you be embarrassed or isn't this dumb or what are you going to say? I don't know. It's going to work out.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've set enough of a pattern in my life to believe that if you do the right things, good things happen.
Yeah, you have to believe when people don't. They might say you're crazy. And this is partly the reason why a lot of people quit and don't succeed in a lot of things. Because the people around them, I call them dream killers.
You know what? They're not just dream killers. They're just... If you hang around 4 people that are millionaires, you'll be the 5th, right?
Yeah.
If you hang around 4 people that are successful, you'll be the 5th. You hang around 4 happy people, you'll be the 5th. If you hang around 4 people that suck,
you'll be the next.
It's over. It's. I mean, and there's nothing against those folks.
No.
I'm a person who believes in people, so I want to give them that help. I want to say, I see in you that you can get this, but you don't get my time and energy and effort when you bring me down, right? You just don't get that because you will derail me because that happened a lot in my life. I want you to know that. That happened a lot where I had a lot of friends who I saw their potential and they literally kept dragging my hopes and my dreams and my everything down just subtly. And I don't, you know what I do? I don't know if you know this. The reason you were contacted and the reason I'm on LinkedIn, you could not find me on the internet 3 months ago. I did not exist. You type in my name, there was not a picture. There was nothing. I did not exist. I only did this recently because I said, I want to surround myself with better people. That's it. That's it. I don't waste time with anybody. I have a gentleman, there's a guy I met recently. His name's Adam Robinson. He owns a company called retention.com. Yeah. So I met Adam a few months back, and him and his wife are flying down on Thursday to spend the weekend with me down here in Mexico. And he said, Curtis, my wife loved you. She thought you were nice. We want to spend more time with people like you who are optimistic, who are kind, who are interesting, because once you start growing in business, you surround yourself with better and better and better people. And guess what? It just gets easier and easier and easier. And this is because I made a conscious decision that I'm going to surround myself with better people. So I opened that up, and guess what? Magically, ta-da! It worked. I mean, this stuff just works that way. It is that powerful. I'll tell you something. I know your online marketing secrets. I have a fun story for you. My ex-girlfriend read in the world's first online daily newspaper back in 1995. She was at University of Missouri, Columbia, and they had an online daily newspaper, and she would go in the middle of the night and sit there and type in and take the AP things and put the HTML and put it for an online paper for the University of Missouri. World's first online daily newspaper. And I used to go in because I'm a guy and she was pretty, right? So I'd go in at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning and hang out with her. And I would say, people should be selling something on this. You should use this internet to sell. And she's like, that's not what it's for. It's not what it's for. I'm like, it should be. It will be. She said, I don't believe you. I quit what I was doing at that time, wrote a book about internet marketing, one of the first in the world back in 96, 97, and started up my first online marketing back in the day. And now the world has changed, but the basics are still the same, right? You got to be ahead of the curve. You got to be good. You got to put it in for time. You got to surround yourself with good people, and you got to believe, and you got to go forward. I think that the number one thing that if I was going to help anybody, because I'm fortunate, I get a lot of people that ask me what to do, and I'm going to tell. Is that okay if I tell you what I think the absolute secret to online marketing is?
Oh, sure.
Some people think you think a lot, move slowly, get it right, and that success will come quickly. It's exactly the opposite. You move like freaking crazy. Yeah. You try everything, and success will always be longer than you think it is. Much longer than you think it is. As long as you say, I'm going to work my ass off and I don't expect the rewards coming in for a while, you will continue to grow and be successful. Yeah. If you expect it to be slow and half-ass it and expect it to come around, it's not. And when I started to do some of these podcasts, my cousin heard me talking to some of them. He said, Curtis, you're the nicest guy I know. You kind of sound like an asshole on some of these podcasts. Like, why are you talking like that? And I'm like, because I'm not talking to you. He's already successful, this guy, right? He already makes tens of millions of dollars. I said, I'm talking in a tone that is trying to stir that person who's right on the edge of either giving up or not trying hard enough to say, dude, go all in, do it, take a step, learn, get battered, get better. And a couple years from now, you're going to learn that what you did was important to who you are. And what I learned is when I talk in a very casual, nice tone of voice, they listen and they like it, but it doesn't make it change. It's only when I get mad at them and say, dude, and get your butt moving.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So man, you were on the online in the 90s.
Yeah.
Now I didn't come online till like 2004.
Okay.
So what do you think is the biggest change from the 90s up until now? Do you think it's easier today?
Oh, of course.
Or you think it's easier?
Yeah. Oh, of course it is. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we had to create some of the technologies at the time. I mean, you know how take a picture, drop it into a website, scale it right there, like some things like I was doing that in 98, 99, had to hire programmers. At the time, you're just making it up. You had to convince people that online was the right way, and you had to create the technology. Now that you have the foundation, the marketing takes precedent. We had to do the technology plus the marketing.
Oh,
that sucks.
Yeah.
Now the technology already exists, right? Just go out there and do what those things are. One of the things that I'm doing now that I've never done before is a physical product. We'll make a lot of bags this year. I mean, we're the largest leather bag maker in North America, okay? That's a lot of leather. That's a lot of leather bags. That's a lot of purses. That's a lot of wallets. But I own the manufacturing.
Oh, okay.
So I have all of the people and we have to just do the design work, and we have to do the logistics. We have to send them to our 3PL. Then we have to do the marketing and the customer service, right? So it's a fully integrated system. So I had to learn about everything. But dealing with a physical product is not easy. It's not easy. But the one thing that we do is our product is spectacular. So once people get it in their hands, they want to buy it again. And there's your key to online marketing, right? Don't sell something you have to oversell every single time, right? If you have something bad, you're always having to market and sell that thing. At a certain point, if you have a good product, we will spend tens of millions of dollars this year on Facebook and Google advertising, like close to $30 million, okay? We get more people come to us and buy because their friend told them about us than we do off of Google. There's the key. There's the magic right there, right? Does that make sense? That's the whole thing. So all we need is someone to buy one time, and then we have a lifetime value that is 6 times what that purchase is. So there it is. So you got to get in an elevator that's going to go up, and it's big enough for your dreams. And then you've got to do something. If it's a physical product, or I don't care if it isn't a physical, it's got to be better than what they're expecting. You got to shock them a little bit. They got to have low expectations when they get that and say, there's no way at this price it could be that good. No, it's better.
Yeah.
They got to feel like they stole from you. I didn't pay enough for this. Easy. Why? Because they can't shut up about it to their friends because of that, right? Yeah. They can't. So there's a few little things in there. I hope that some of your folks can take a look at and understand and distill into it.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. You like you've done. Well, first off, when did you start Portland Leather Goods? When
2016.
Okay. So this is way before the pandemic. So during the pandemic, did that affect any of your business at all?
Everything.
Okay.
It literally changed. So, but what I want you to understand is we started off, as I said, the first year was just selling at art festivals, just seeing if people like the product, right? Okay. Then the next year we went on to Etsy, and then you went on, and then you just start. Here's the math, and the people get upset when I say that. Here's $1 million first year, right? 2 million, 4 million, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. I know that simple math. Those are exactly what we did.
And boom.
You double every year. And the reason that we hit those exact goals of 16 and 32 is because those were the goals we set the year before. So when you do 8 million, you say, we're going to do 16 next year. Why? Because it's doubling. And then magically, you actually do that. Why? Because you put all your time and your energy and your resources into breaking that down and making that happen. Should I have actually said we should triple? Maybe. Maybe that cost us a lot of money. Maybe that doubling kept me from going too crazy and trying to grow it too big and blowing the thing up. Because there's nothing against somebody saying, hey, if you could take your company and go from $1 million to 100 million in 6 years, would you do it? Of course you would.
Yeah.
I think they would.
Yeah.
But I tell you, there are times where I'm like, we're going too slow. And what I mean by that is every day I'm telling people we're going too slow.
That's great, man. So, hey, if people wanted to follow you, where would they go to?
There is no other way to contact me other than LinkedIn. I just don't have anything else out there. I've got a Curtis Matsko Instagram, but that's just me and pictures of me sitting on a deck in Mexico or Italy or something, right? That's boring stuff.
No, you have videos on there.
On LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, LinkedIn, I talk to people every day. I go on there and the reason that I do those videos is mostly for myself because I'm selfish. It helps me distill my thoughts when I do that. So you can go on. But it's also when things come up day to day, it's the time to talk about them. You can't wait for a year and then say, Curtis, what did you learn last year? The learning happens day to day and hour to hour and minute to minute. So only by recording what you're doing and remembering what got you there, because hindsight's really easy. I watched Air last night. You know, the Michael Jordan show Air?
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's like, well, of course, that makes a lot of sense that they signed him to the Air Jordan and they did that. No. It didn't. I'm from Portland, Oregon, man. That was it was like they had to risk everything in their company. It was the long shot. And now you look back. But that movie says, look at all the little things that were going on at that time. In retrospect, looking back, you're like, that was easy. Those decisions are never easy in real time. We bought our building in Portland, Oregon, and it's big, 24,000 square foot, beautiful building. When I wanted to buy that building, everyone said, Curtis, you're crazy. Why would you do that? And 6 months later, they're like, well, of course, we couldn't have grown if we didn't have the whole, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you're signing the paper at the bank for $5 million, you're like, off of an Etsy company? You're like selling a few bags on Etsy and you want to buy a $5? That's crazy.
Yeah.
In hindsight, everyone says, well, of course. No, all of these decisions are hard at the time.
Yeah.
They're all hard, but they all work out when you see the big picture, you surround yourself with good people, and you just build it the right way. So LinkedIn, Curtis Matsko, you see it right there. Go on and type my name in. I'm still, at this point, answering the messages that I get on there. That is not going to be safe. If you send it to anyone gets a hold of my email, which many people have, that's not really me, everybody. All you salespeople, I got an assistant that's reading that. You're not getting through to me. The LinkedIn is at this point the only and the best way to get a hold of me.
There you have it. Like, share this episode. All links will be found in the show notes. Until next time, we're out. Peace.